It's almost my last trip of coffee. Hey fellas, today we're going to look at my air compressors and my spray booth. Now I've gotten a lot of questions recently because seems like I've got a lot of modelers that are getting back into the hobby or just starting off, and they have a lot of questions about some of the equipment. So we're going to run through and I'll show you two of my air compressors, and I've got that. I bought, if you've been searching on there and you see that red Posh air compressor, I bought that about a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago, and I've been using it and I really like it. My spray booth, I really like it, and I bought all of these items on Amazon, so I will leave a link in the description to the Amazon page. Now, none of this stuff is really high end. It's really affordable. The Posh was the most expensive thing. It was like $278. The smaller air compressor, which is just fine, has worked fine for me over the last 4 years, is, I think it was $87. This spray booth is like $170. So I'll leave all the links in the description for these, and I'll quit yapping. Let's get on and take a look at my air compressors and then my spray booth. All right, let's take a look at the first one. Now, I've had one similar to this that I used for about 3 years with absolutely no problems. It's a really inexpensive, probably manufactured in China, I would guess, compressor, but it has worked well for me. Now, I bought this one probably a month or so ago just to replace the old one that I had. The previous one that I had, after about 3 years, the moisture that got in the tank corroded a hole and rusted a hole in the bottom, and then it was pretty much useless. So the motor still ran fine, it's just the tank corroded. And rather than try to mess with it and get a different tank, I just went ahead and bought another one. It was $87 shipped on Amazon, so you really can't beat that. But again, a 1/5 horsepower with a 3-liter tank. It comes with the air trap, the pressure gauge, the regulator. It only comes with one outlet. And so we get a better view down here, but here is the outlet right here. So what I've done, because I like to have at least 2 air brushes available when I spray, just in case I'm using different colors, and especially if you're doing camo and you're wanting to do touch-ups, it's kind of a pain in the butt to be switching out paint, and I'd just like to have a couple different airbrushes available if I need them. So what I've done is I've just bought this manifold off eBay. I bought it a long time ago, or splitter, whatever you want to call it, and it just hooks into there, and then I can hook up 4 of them at a time if I want. So we'll turn this on so you can hear it. It's on Amazon, it says it's 58 decibels, I believe, or 59 decibels, but it's really quiet. I could sit here and talk to you while it's running, and it is extremely quiet. It does come with a hose, I think, but these hoses are not really expensive. Now, on all my hoses, what I like to do is I like to put these quick release connectors on there. Okay, otherwise you're having to screw your airbrush in there. But if you put a quick release on there, then all I have to do is take my airbrush, which I've got the other end of the quick release on here, and just plug it in, okay? And I'm good to go. The pressure gauge, looks like I've got a leak here in this hose somewhere. Now this is, since I've gotten this big one, I'm using this one more or less as a backup. But you can see the pressure gauge, it doesn't go up very high. Even if you turn it up really high, it still doesn't shoot out a lot of PSI, a lot of pressure. That's at like 30 PSI right there. And it's kind of hard to tell with the pressure gauge. It's pretty much a generic one. But if you really want to blow something out, then this isn't gonna blow out real hard. But for as far as what you're wanting to shoot through your airbrush, almost every paint, when I shoot that Badger Stynylrez, This gives out plenty of power. I put it up to like 30 psi when I shoot that stuff out of my Awada HPCS. So it does have plenty of power, but you know, pretty inexpensive. You can get by and use this for basically anything you want to do with modeling. So we'll go ahead and release this and then turn it off. So it's pretty quiet. As you heard, I talked over it while it was running. Release all the air. So pretty much this is my standby. Now, I'm going to move the camera because I'm going to pull this monster out. And I got this, I don't know, several weeks ago. And there were a couple little tiny issues that I wanted to deal with, and we'll talk about those. But I'll pull it out so we can get a better look at it. Okay, this is the Posh Pro Series, and the model number is DC850R, in case you're interested in that sort of thing. But this is a really, I really like this compressor. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on Amazon. Now, I've only used this for a few weeks, so you know, take that for what it is. It may break on me tomorrow. Who knows? I got a crappy Posh airbrush. Let's see, it's this one. And I really hate this thing. It's a cheap piece of crap. So when I bought this, you know, I really wasn't sure what to expect because, you know, my previous experience with Posh wasn't that good. But overall, from what I've used, like I said, for the last few weeks, and I really like it. It's got a lot more power than this little guy over here. It's a three quarter horsepower with a 1.5 gallon tank, and you can really crank this up and spray out, shoot some stuff. This is more like a small air compressor you'd have in your garage. However, it is a lot quieter. Now, on Amazon, it says it's, I think, 58 decibels, but it does seem just a little bit louder than this little guy that we just played with. A couple of the issues that I ran into. Now, they do supply you. Okay, yeah, because I just let the air out of it. One of the issues that I ran into was they give you these quick connect, quarter-inch quick connects like you would normally see on your garage compressor. But they don't give you this little adapter that I had to order separately that goes that has a quarter-inch female to a 1/8 inch male connector to hook on most airbrush hoses. So I had to buy that. So I think on my last video I said that I needed a part. Yeah, these were the parts that I had to order. So if they're gonna, you know, this is meant for an airbrush. I don't know why they wouldn't supply that with it. So that was kind of a bummer. One other issue is they've got two pressure gauges. Now this is the pressure gauge that I assume shows you the pressure in the tank. And this is the one that goes into that shows the pressure that's going to be coming out of your air hose. Now it's the one that comes with the compressor is this one right here, and it goes by increments of 30 psi. So you go from 0 to 30 to 60 to 90. And for my uses, and you know, I typically spray between you know, probably around 15 psi, sometimes 30 psi if I'm shooting a Badger Stynylres. So I wanted something that was a little more accurate, that I could dial in a little bit better than having to kind of guess where where my PSI was. So I just got on Amazon and got a small pressure gauge that that showed the PSI by increments of 10. So I really like how it is now. Yeah, so that's just one other thing. If you're looking to get this and you're going to use it for mainly airbrushing and models, then you'll probably want to get a different pressure gauge. And this was like, I think, $6-7 for this one. It was just a cheap one. So I just pulled this one off, put that one on, and good to go. So now we'll turn this on. You'll get to see how this sounds and how long it takes to fill up the tank. The on switch is right up here. You can tell it's a little bit louder. It doesn't take long to fill up the tank, and since it is a larger tank, it does give you a lot of spraying before the motor kicks back on. So we'll get my airbrush down here. and I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but it usually shuts off right about 120 over here on this gauge. So we're getting pretty close. And let's see, dead space. Ah, yeah, awesome. Okay, so now I've got a full tank ready to go. And you don't have to let the tank fill up all the way before you start spraying. But let's see, we'll adjust the pressure gauge. Right now it looks like, hopefully you can see that, it's at 10 PSI. So we can just turn the dial here, righty up, lefty down. So that's about where I usually spray it, right in between the 10 and the 20. And you can crank this baby up. And a lot of times what I like to do, especially when I'm building, a lot of the kits that I build, it's a lot of sanding and I get a lot of greeblies. I would typically take it out to the garage and turn on the compressor out there and use my little air hose and just blow all the greeblies out. Well, this has enough power that I can do it with just my airbrush and high pressure. So we can turn this up. I don't know how much pressure these hoses can take, but we'll turn it up to, I mean, that's 85 PSI right there. And that's pretty good pressure. You're not gonna probably be spraying any paint out at 80 PSI. So this has a lot of power. We'll go ahead and turn it back down. And you can see the, there we go. So when it hits between 60 and 90, the motor will kick back on, fill the tank back up, and you're good to go. So, and like I said, I'm only using this for a few weeks, so I can't attest to how long it's going to last. But as far as working is doing what I want it to do, so far the last few weeks, it's really great. I really like it. And again, it can do just a little bit more than what this thing can do. It just gives you a little bit more power. The motor's going to run a little less because you got such a larger tank, just depending on how big a project you're spraying. But I really like this so far, and if it does happen to break, then I will be sure to let you guys know what the issue is. So there we go. There's a look at the Posh compressor. Now we'll move on, and you can take a look at my spray booth over there. So here's an overview of the spray booth. Now, I used my last one occasionally. It was a little bit smaller than this, and it was probably made by the same brand. In fact, on Amazon, I didn't even see a brand name on it. But like I said before, I'll leave a link in the description. But I really do like this one for a couple different reasons. Now, this isn't a top quality spray booth. It was like $179. You know, I think the good ones are, the stainless steel ones go up to, you know, $1,000 depending on how much you want to spend. But for $179, this does everything that I really wanted to do. Now, it measures, it's about 22 inches wide. So if you're looking for, do you have enough room for it? 22 inches wide by about 14 inches tall and about 18 inches deep as far as the farthest point to the farthest point back here. Now the vent is on the top and it goes around, it comes with a hose and a little thingy down there that looks like a big vacuum sweeper. We'll show you that in a minute. I don't have it shooting out of my window. I probably could, but this part right here is kind of finicky to, it comes apart. I probably should tape it and I would be able to move this around a little bit better, but I think just one of it's because it's not really top quality, this hose doesn't fit on there as good as I'd like it to. But other than that, I really like it. Now, what I typically do when I spray is, I'm going to move this off and somebody's going to yell at me because you're going to get sick. But what I typically do is I've got that little fan over there and I'll open the window and I'll turn the fan on and I've got my respirator and then I'll turn this thing on. And what's really neat about this is it's got a bunch of LED lights and 2 fans on it. Now, and what I really like about it is that you can do them independently. So there is just the light. So if I just want to spray something and I'm not like spraying a bunch and I just turn my fan on in the window, and I can get some good lighting down here to spray. It's big enough area down here to spray, you know, parts, or maybe not a big 32nd scale full fuselage, but you know, a 48 scale model, most of those will fit in there. And you know, a lot of the parts that you spray, the sub-assemblies, will fit nicely in there. So you can adjust the lights with the dial. They can go down really dim, or you can turn them all the way up full blast. So it gives you a lot of lighting. Plus, you can also turn the fan on separately. Now there's the fan's full blast. It is rather loud, a lot louder than my compressor. So that is rather annoying, but it is what it is. Here's the suction at full blast. It'll hold one of those up. I'll hold my paper towels up. And then here's what it looks like on the inside. Like I said, I don't have this going outside, which I probably should, but I use it mainly just to suck all the fumes and all my overspray to get it out of the room. Now, I can use this dial, turn this dial down, and adjust the strength of the fan. Now, if you get it down too low, it's basically useless, but you can adjust the fan if you want. So there we go. I like it because it just keeps the overspray from going all over into the room. Now I've got the hose back here going down to the bottom, and then I put some paper towels inside that thing to kind of stop, not stop the air, because if you cut off the air it's not going to suck, but to kind of just stop the paint from going everywhere. This is old carpet, I'm going to get rid of this anyway. But yeah, I find that sufficient, and then with my window right there with the fan going, I'm pretty much set. So there it is. Pretty happy with it. But you know, like I said, it's not you know, it'd be nice to have just a big spray booth, but I really don't have the room for it, and I didn't really want to pay, you know, $1,000 for a nice big spray booth. So there it is. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to have a couple builds coming up, and I will see you then. Thanks for watching.